We just launched a product from $0 to $1,000 a day using only Amazon PPC, and I'm gonna walk through with you exactly how we did it with a repeatable Amazon PPC campaign formula that you can use to launch your products on Amazon successfully. I'm Chris Rawlings. I run a portfolio that does over $6 million a month in gross revenue on Amazon, and I'm one of the top spenders of Amazon PPC ads on the platform with over $2 million in monthly Amazon PPC ad spend. My team and I launch dozens of new products on Amazon.com every month using a simple PPC formula that I'm gonna walk through with you in this video. If you've watched other YouTube videos on how to launch products on Amazon.com, you likely have heard some outdated information. For example, a lot of people are gonna tell you to focus all your ad spend on single keyword exact match campaigns, only targeting top of search. That is completely wrong now. That used to work really well. It doesn't work well anymore. Now what works is what I'm going to walk you through in this video. There are 5 main elements to a successful product launch using Amazon PPC, and I'm going to walk through all 5 of them with you in this video. You have to make sure that you hit all 5, otherwise your launch has a very low probability of success. Okay, so before I get into the actual structure, let's look at this launch. So we launched January 8th and got it to about $1,000 a day in sales. You could see 1,300, 1,000, 500, 900, 1,300, 500, 1,200. On average, we got it to about $1,000 a day in sales, and then we just stocked out. And it's stocking back in now. This is a common problem with launches, and I try not to do it as best as possible, but sometimes it's difficult not to stock out on a new product launch, especially if it's a brand new account. This is a warning though, don't stock out. It makes your life so much harder when you stock out. Just stay in stock. Do everything you possibly can to stay in stock. Now let's break down some of the actual numbers here. Now I'm gonna get into the actual campaign structure so you could see what we did to rank and launch this product successfully. But first, let's look at what happened. So we launched the product. At first, we immediately start running ads to it. At first, we're doing less than $200 a day in sales. We have a couple good days where we have 400, 300, then we're back to 100, 190, 190, 300, 150. Now, what's happening here during this phase is that we're running traffic to the product somewhat aggressively, but we're mostly getting data back. And the reason we're doing that is because a launch really has 3 main phases. In the very beginning, you're launching campaigns to get sales velocity, but also to get data back. Data about what targeting is working best, data about what your click-through rate is, data about what your conversion rate is and how that compares to the benchmark. And then you're analyzing that data and making small adjustments. And then once you have the data really validated, you make big adjustments to make a big change. And that's how we got up to about $1,000 a day in sales by the time we finished this launch, which this only took 4 weeks to launch this product. Sometimes it's going to take you 4 weeks, sometimes 6 weeks, sometimes 3 months. The launch officially ends when you are no longer losing money and you're making enough revenue at a low enough cost to make the product sustainable on Amazon. So you know, okay, this product works, it's sustainable, it doesn't lose me money. Now let's start make me money. And that at that point, you can balance between how fast you want to grow and how much money you want to make with the product on a monthly basis. So let's look deeper at what happened here. First of all, we have a 38% ACoS, which for a launch, that's really good. A lot of times you're going to have an ACoS that's higher than that. That's 60%, 50%, 65%, 70% even, where you're pushing harder. In consumables products, it could be 100% or 150% because the CPCs are so high and all the other brands you're competing against already have repeat purchases to offset their ad costs where you don't. But this is not a consumable product, so the CPCs are not totally crazy. They're not cheap either. Now, what happened here where we took off? Well, I'll tell you what the biggest change was. If I click this click-through rate, you see what coincided with this big takeoff in sales was a big increase in the click-through rate. We had a click-through rate below 1% here. You could see it was at 0.7, 0.8, 1.1, 0.7, 0.8, 0.8, 0.8, 0.4. And then what we did was we took the data that was coming back from the campaigns and coming back from the sales. We identified through using brand analytics that our click-through rate was below benchmark. And then we split tested new primary images to boost our click-through rate above benchmark. So we went from 0.7, 0.8 to 1.4, 1.3, 1.6. We basically nearly doubled the click-through rate just by testing a new primary image. At the same time, we were doing the same thing with the conversion rate. Now, I can't stress how important this is. When you're doing a product launch, it needs attention from you every single day. The first 35 days of the product launch, called the honeymoon period, is the period where Amazon is collecting data about how your product is doing, and it's making judgment calls about whether or not you deserve to rank on page 1. So it's very key to constantly be adjusting your targeting of your ads, the keywords you're targeting, the products you're targeting, the bids you're making, the bid adjustments, the ad types, the creative in your ads if you're doing sponsored brand ads. We'll get into that in a second. And then most importantly, using all that data from your ads to feed it back into your listings and back into your thumbnail in order to get a higher click-through rate and higher conversion rate. And using brand analytics and using Product Opportunity Explorer, you could determine whether or not your click-through rate and your conversion rate is above or below benchmark for your particular space. So this is the critical thing that really kicked off this launch. It was getting the data back, using it to get click-through rate and conversion rate above benchmark by split testing new primary images and titles and new content on the listing, including secondary images, A+ content, brand story module, etc. Once that click-through rate went up, our sales immediately bumped because we were getting more clicks and more sessions and more sales from the same amount of traffic we were already spending. And you can see if I click this ACoS graph, our ACoS was very variable in the beginning. It was going high, up over 100% some days. And then once we made this change and we really dialed everything in, the ACoS got a lot less volatile and a lot more reasonable. So we could see 27%, 23%, 37%, 31%, 32%, versus over here, we're getting days where we're up over 100%. So in the beginning, you're getting data back and it's gonna be more volatile because you're testing a lot of things out. Then once you start to incorporate the data into the changes in your campaigns and into the changes in your thumbnail and your listing, things tend to smooth out and get a little bit more predictable and reasonable as the launch progresses. And then of course, at the end, here's where we actually stocked out. Now, if I look at spend, you could see we kept spend at a pretty reasonable rate in the beginning because we're really trying to just drive sales velocity, yes, but also get data back. Then once we saw that our click-through rate was really boosted up, and you could see that happen right before we boosted sales. Click-through rate started to really come up, and then right away, we caught on, started spending more because we knew we were making more with every dollar spent. And that's when we really ramped spend. That's what allows you to really catapult. We call this the catapult phase of a launch, where you can just shoot up the rankings. Okay, now I'm gonna walk you through the actual campaigns here that we use. But before I do that, I'm gonna walk you through the foundational campaign structure of any good product launch on Amazon. Pay attention here, guys, because I'm literally gonna give you the formula on a silver platter here. So just stick with me. Walk through this step by step with me, and once you're done with this video, you will forever have a superpower, which is the ability to profitably launch products on Amazon.com. As long as they're good products, this formula will work for you. Okay, now I'm really opening the kimono for you guys. Normally, I don't share this. This is an internal resource that we use for our own guys to reference when they're setting up a new campaign launch, and we use this template to chart out what campaigns we're gonna launch when we begin a product before we actually get into the ad console. And I recommend you do the same thing. So each of these, this is really incredible, so stick with me. Each of these is a type of campaign. You can see we have sponsored products campaigns, sponsored brands campaigns, and over here we have sponsored display campaigns. Then over here we have the campaigns that are used for ranking, the campaigns that are used for brand defense, meaning keeping other competitors from taking our sales, the campaigns that are used for research, meaning finding new keywords to target or product targets to target, and the campaigns that are used for performance, i.e. the profitable campaigns that are just driving sales at the lowest possible ACoS. These are the four main goals that you need to achieve while you are launching a new product on Amazon.com: is ranking, brand defense, research, and performance. And we've split out the different campaign setups that are the best, that we've found work the best after launching over 2,500 products on Amazon.com, being one of the single top spenders of Amazon ads, in this sheet. Now, if you click this plus button here on the left-hand side, it will actually open for you for that particular campaign a video walkthrough of how to set up that campaign, the purpose of the campaign, how to target it, what match type to use, what keywords to target, what the ad format is, the starting bid, any negative targeting, the bidding strategy, some notes and tips and highlights, how to name the campaign, and even the optimization to do on the campaign over time. And you have that for every single one of these types of campaigns that I'm walking through. Guys, this is gold. I normally don't give this away, but I made a decision to just open the kimono and give out anything and everything on this channel. And you guys are getting this. So I'm going to walk through this with you. This is our internal rubric of what works to launch a product. And then I'm going to give you the chance later on in this video to get this for yourself and actually take it home and use a version for you so that you can plan out launches yourself. And also what you do with this, by the way, is you go over to template and you can plan out each of the campaigns and how much you're going to budget to each one. Then at the bottom, that's going to add up the budget for you so that you know what your total daily budget is for the launch across all your campaigns. Guys, this is absolute gold. Trust me. If you're not using something like this, you don't have to use this. You can make it yourself if you want. But if you want a shortcut, you could just get it from me. But if you want to make it yourself, fine. But do something like this. You have to plan out your campaigns ahead of time, not just freeball it like a cowboy, go into the ad console and create campaigns willy-nilly and throw random budgets in there. Okay, that's not going to work. That's not going to help you. You got to plan it with intention from the start. Plan out all the campaigns that you're going to launch and how much of your daily budget is going to go to each one. Now, I have a whole video on budgeting that I'm going to link to at the end of this video. So if you don't know how to budget your launch, watch that video. It goes all the way deep into how to budget, how to come up with your daily budget and your monthly budget for a new product launch on Amazon. So check out that video at the end of this video. But now let's get into the actual launch structure. Okay, now let's start with the most famous one. Now this is the one that all of the gurus online and YouTube videos are going to tell you to only do when you're doing a product launch, and that's single keyword ranking campaigns. This is an important type of campaign, but it is by far not the most important campaign and not the only campaign that you want to put in place with a product launch. If you do this, you will be wasting your budget on top of search and allowing your competitors to come in and snag sales from you after you're bleeding in the corner because you spent all of your money on the most expensive clicks during the most expensive time of day. And your competitors will just wait till you run out of budget somewhere in the beginning, middle of the day. Then they'll scoop in and take the cheaper clicks and also probably target your own branded keywords and your own products and just shank you in the corner while you're bleeding there. So you don't want to do that. You don't want to let that happen. So we do want to put in place these campaigns, but we don't want to make that the only campaigns we do, because if we do, that will likely blow our budget. Now, there are some exceptions to this, and you're in a space where you know you could dominate organic ranking, then you are going to devote a lot more of your budget towards single keyword ranking campaigns like this. But for most of you guys, you're going to put in place a mix of these different types of campaigns we're going to walk through. And then you're going to see what's performing best, and you're going to keep feeding the ones that perform better. And when I go back and walk through the actual campaigns of that launch we were looking at earlier, you're going to see how things don't always go according to plan. Okay, so let's walk through this setup of this single keyword ranking campaign. And by the way, these walkthroughs are available for every single type of campaign. Yes, I'm making this all available to you guys. Normally, this is only available to insiders inside Sophie Society. I'm making it available to you guys so that you can do this at home. And if you want further guidance and direct coaching, you can come to one of my next events. I run the biggest Amazon PPC focused digital event in the world. It's called the Profitable PPC Challenge. I'd love to see you there. But either way, this resource is going to you, and you're going to be able to see these walkthroughs yourself. So don't worry if you miss something. You can get this later on in the video. I'm going to tell you how. Okay, so we're going to go to sponsored products. We're going to name the ad group. Just make sure you have the ASIN in there, the shortcut for the product name. Add one product. Then you're going to go to manual targeting, then keyword targeting, then click enter list, custom bid, set your bid. I have a whole video on bids. You'll find it on my channel. Click exact, and then input the one single keyword that you want from your keyword research sheet. Now, if you don't have a keyword research sheet, I'll go over that in a minute. But this is one of the most important keywords that you know you have to rank for. That's where you're going to put in here. Just leave a single keyword, no negative matching, fix bids, and you're going to start without bid modifiers. Just start with fixed bids, no bid modifiers at all. And then you're going to see how it performs, and we're going to adjust it over time. That is how you create a single keyword exact match ranking campaign. Okay, let's get into another type of campaign, this time in sponsored brands. Now, a lot of people will tell you sponsored brand campaigns don't help you rank. Sponsored brand campaigns are not good for a product launch. That is all completely wrong, completely false. Sponsored brand campaigns that are keyword targeted do drive rank. I know this because we've been forced into situations where we had to drive exclusively all our traffic through sponsored brand campaigns, and they did in fact drive rank, and they did do it powerfully. Sponsored brand campaigns, especially sponsored brand video campaigns, can actually provide much cheaper cost per click, sometimes half the cost of the same target in sponsored products if you have a really good creative. That's why sponsored brand campaigns can actually be a secret weapon when you're launching. And we've used it to pull the nose up on launches that were not going well. Either bad reviews came in, or we had some kind of product defect issue, and we had to turn a product launch around. We've used creative to get us out of that situation, because the reason is sponsored brand campaigns are not judged solely on their review rating and the primary image. They're also judged based on how the creative looks and how the creative connects with the shopper. So you can circumvent issues in reviews. You can circumvent issues in product differentiation or primary image just by having a good creative, which is super powerful. So let's walk through how to set one of these up. So specifically, the type of sponsored brand campaign you're going to want to set up during a product launch is a keyword targeted sponsored brand campaign. Okay, so the specific type of campaign that you're going to want to create in sponsored brands is a sponsored brand video keyword targeted campaign. So you're going to name the campaign. The naming convention is in the sheet. Put in a budget. I'll link to that at the end of this video. Drive page visits. And then you're going to go to video. And then you're going to go to product detail page. That means when they click the ad, it's going to go directly to the product detail page. Then you're going to select one product, only one product at a time per campaign here, guys. Then you're going to deselect cost control so that we control bidding. Click keyword targeting, enter list, and then here's where you're going to put the keywords. And you're going to use either your top performing keywords from sponsored products if you already have that data, or all of the keywords in a given shopper intent group. So in this case, we used all the keywords that were about cute. You might use all the keywords that are for mom, or all the keywords that are capsules or powder or whatever. They have to fit a specific theme. Then we're going to, at the bottom, upload our actual creative. And then we are done creating our sponsored brand video keyword targeted campaign. All right, now I'm going to walk through speedily the rest of these campaign types that you should include in your launch. We're not going to go through the step-by-step of how to set up every single one. Otherwise, this video would end up being very long. And I'm going to let you guys watch those video recordings on your own since I'm giving you access to this resource. Okay, so the next type of campaign is a multi-keyword ranking campaign. Now, this is where the line is blurred between performance and ranking, where you can have a multi-keyword ranking campaign, but it could also be a performance campaign. So this is where the line gets kind of blurred. This is the clear ranking campaign type, where it's a single keyword, exact match campaign, mostly usually targeting top of search, also probably rest of search. And that's specifically for the purpose of ranking. It's going to have a higher A cost for sure, but it's going to lead to more organic ranking. This leads to both. Sometimes you can have a great performing multi-keyword campaign that you're constantly optimizing over time. That also helps you with ranking, but it's also very lean and has, a relatively low A cost. So there's two different ways to do this: exact match or broad match. There's another way as well, which is broad modified, meaning it's broad match, but you put a plus in front of some of the keywords that you want to make sure Amazon always includes in the term. So what do I mean about broad versus exact? Well, we just went through an exact campaign with the ranking type, so let's talk about broad. So when you're setting up a broad match campaign with multiple keywords, you're going to select keywords with the same semantic core and then input them as broad match so that Amazon has more leeway to target keywords that are similar to those keywords, but not exactly the same. Unlike phrase match, Amazon doesn't have to include the words themselves. It could include totally different words, but that just have the same intent or have the same meaning. These campaigns can perform really well. The reason is that Amazon likes to have leeway. Unlike in years past where it performed really well to just do your keyword research ahead of time and just only target those keywords that performed well. Nowadays, Amazon likes the leeway, and a lot of times you're going to find these broad match campaigns perform better than exact match campaigns with the same target. It's really weird. Sometimes even the very same target, the very same search term being advertised on will perform totally differently in broad than it does in exact, even though Amazon is showing the ad for the same term. And the reason for this is that Amazon uses different inventory buckets to place your bid. So you're actually entering different bidding auctions based on the match type and based on the bid that you have. So these two campaigns, even if you put in the exact same terms, could perform dramatically differently, and sometimes they do. Okay, now brand defense campaigns. There's two main types of brand defense campaigns. There's defending your branded keywords. This is keywords that include my brand name to keep my competitors from stealing people that are looking for my product. And then there's defending your product listings. This means trying to take up as many ad slots on your own product listings as you possibly can so that your competitors can't scoop in and steal your sales. Now, let me show you why this is so important. If I click create campaign here, and then I go to sponsored product campaign, you can actually do this in any of the three ad types. And then I scroll down and I go to targeting and I do product targeting. There's an option under categories. There's a way to target all the products in my category that have a low star rating or are priced higher than me. Also, a lot of competitors that are really savvy are going to just target you just because you're new and you don't have that many star ratings at all, because they know that since they have maybe 10,000 reviews and you only have 20 because you're a new product, they're going to try to target you because they have more trust. So you want to keep them from doing that, and that's the purpose of a brand defense campaign. Now I have a whole video on how to set up brand defense, both organic defense and paid defense. We call that shielding when you do both organic and paid together. That's on my channel. You can find it easily, and you could go deep into that if you want to get into the science of that. But in general, you want to set these up from the get-go. Otherwise, your competitors are going to be scooping in and trying to take your sales. The most important one really, and this is only available to you if you have multiple products, but the most important one is branded ASINs. If you advertise on your products on all your other products, it just fills up all of the ad placement inventory slots on your listing so that nobody else can get them. Basically, you're just kind of crowding them out, a brute force attack. Okay, then we get into research. And this is really interesting because the point of these campaigns really is just to source new keywords so that you can put them into your broad match campaigns, your multi-keyword exact match campaigns, and your single keyword ranking campaigns. But it doesn't just do that. Sometimes auto campaigns perform really, really well in and of themselves if you properly optimize and manage them over time. Now, there's 4 different types of auto campaigns. There's close match, loose match, substitutes, and complements. And I'm going to show you by going into close match what I mean by that and how to set those up. Okay, so you're going to go to sponsored products, name your ad group, select the product that you want to advertise, click auto targeting, and then click set bids by targeting group. And this is where you see the 4 different auto match types. Close match and loose match is referring to keywords. Substitutes and complements is referring to products. Close match means Amazon is going to advertise on keywords that are a close match to the same keywords that you're advertising on that match your product. Loose match means Amazon is going to have a lot more leeway to test out things that are keywords that are not so similar to the ones that you would standardly be advertising on. So close match is the more relevant, loose match is the less relevant, but broader. Substitutes means Amazon is targeting products that could be a substitute for your product. So that means it's the same product. If I'm selling a coffee mug, it's going to advertise my product on other coffee mugs listings. Complements means Amazon is going to be targeting products that are complementary to your product with the ads. So if I'm selling a coffee mug, it might be advertising my coffee mug on a listing for a coffee maker or on a listing that sells coffee. So which of these should you use? In general, the answer is always split test, but I'm going to tell you close match and substitutes are the 2 that tend to perform best. Complements doesn't always really work. Now, it really depends on the product, but it's not going to work quite as well. And the reason is because you're advertising on totally different products. Amazon thinks based on its algorithm and the data that it has access to that people tend to buy the products together, but really people are coming to Amazon to buy a particular product usually. So it's better to advertise on other listings that are selling the same or similar products. And between close match and loose match, it's pretty obvious. Loose match is just giving Amazon more leeway to advertise on less relevant keywords. So it's just less likely to do as good as close match. So you're going to set the bid. I have a whole video on bidding. You can check it out on my channel. And then you get into negative keyword targeting. Now there's two ways to go about this. You can just create a campaign with just negative targeting. The keywords you found show up when you do keyword research for your product, but you know they're not relevant. Like for example, if I have a phone holder for travel, keywords keep showing up that it's phone holder for desk or phone holder for home, and I know that people only use it for travel, I might negate home or negate office or negate the word desk because I know that people tend to not buy it for that, even though it will show up for that. So I might want to negate those keywords just because I know they're not relevant. Or if I have a supplement that's for small dogs and large dogs always comes up in my keyword research, I'm going to negate the word large because I know that this is only for small dogs and I don't want my product to come up for that because it just means less relevant traffic to my listing, i.e. a lower click-through rate, i.e. a lower conversion rate, and Amazon sees that data and that looks bad. It looks worse and it makes me less likely to rank. So negating terms that you know always come up, but you know are not relevant for you is a very effective strategy in your auto campaigns and it makes them perform better. Another way to do this, which is a little more extreme, is to negate all the keywords, even the good ones that you are using to advertise in your exact match and broad match campaigns just to avoid overlap. So you're gonna add any negative keywords that you have here. This is our keyword research sheet here. So you got your negative targeting. Now in your bidding strategy, you're gonna click dynamic bids down only. This is always a safe bet. Dynamic bids down only should normally be your default bidding strategy unless you have a specific reason to. Like fixed bids can be good for ranking campaigns and up and down can be good when you can't get impressions and you don't know why, but down only is kind of your default. So that's your auto targeting campaigns. And finally, you have your product targeting campaigns. Now there are four main categories of product targeting campaigns. There's targeting products that are lower rated or higher priced or both, like we just talked about before. There's targeting products that are high volume, like they're the top ranking products. There's targeting products that have missing features that your product has that they don't, so that customers land on their listing, they're upset that it doesn't have the feature, they see yours, and especially if it shows right in the primary image, they can click yours and buy. And then there's self-targeted product targeting campaigns where you target your own product. Now, this is kind of a magic type of campaign. I still don't know why other people don't do this. One of our guys discovered it a year and a half ago inside Sophie Society. We've been doing it ever since. I have a whole video on this. It's actually the first video I ever uploaded on my channel, so you'll find it very easily. We call them STEP campaigns, STPP, self-targeted product placement campaigns. This is where you target your own product. Amazon will not show your ad on the very same product listing that you're advertising, because that's inception. But what it does do is sort of a makeshift immediate retargeting. So when people land on your listing, the ad kind of follows them around after that. So it can be really, really powerful. You don't get many sales out of this, but they tend to be very low ACoS, very lean sales, and it can bring down the average ACoS on your account if you do it properly. Check out my video. It's the very first video on my channel if you want to find out how to do that. Otherwise, all these product targeting campaigns, these can work really well, including this one, high volume ASINs, where you're just advertising on the top selling products, especially if you have a discount or a coupon or a deal going on. This can be really, really powerful because they just see the price is different. This also works really well once you've gone through that process that we talked about before of boosting your click-through rate, like we did right around this time, where we just had a massive boost and basically doubled our click-through rate. Once you do that, you know you have a primary image that really slaps and product targeting starts working really, really well. All right, so let's go through how to set up one of these. So you're gonna go to sponsored products, click continue, type in the name using the rubric that we have in the sheet, select what product you're gonna advertise, click manual targeting, click product targeting, and then click individual products, enter list, make sure you don't have expanded clicked, but instead have exact clicked, and expanded is unclicked. Then you're gonna input the product targets from your product targeting research. Now this is I have a whole separate video on how to do keyword research and product research, but you're gonna basically, if you're targeting, the products that are ranking page 1, for example, for your search term, you're gonna collect all the ASINs and then input those in. You're gonna use dynamic bids down only. Like I said before, this should be your default. Put in the campaign name, select the daily budget. I have the whole video on budgets, so you guys are gonna see at the end of this video, and then you're done. Now, another one that might be missing from this is product targeted sponsored display, which can work well during a launch, but in general, you usually spin up more sponsored display once you already have some momentum on the product. That's just why we have it in the expand tab. After the launch is over and you're looking to expand market share, that's when you start really spinning up product targeting campaigns inside sponsored display. But this can work, especially in certain categories during a product launch. So I wouldn't rule it out, even though we don't have it here in the rubric. The other thing is category targeting. So I mentioned category targeting before when I was talking about how you can target just products that are priced higher and rated lower. That's something that can work. You don't even have to do the refinements that I mentioned before. If you want to try that out, category targeting is working better and better recently. It used to not really work that well. Recently, in the last couple months, it started working better and better. So it is something to test if you want to get a little more aggressive and try some more campaigns, and start with targeting your own category, the very same category that your product is in. Okay, now that we know the campaign structure for our launch formula for launching products on Amazon now, let's go through that launch that we talked about before and some of the campaigns. Now, like I said, you're going to be a little surprised based on what we just went through of the breakdown of ad spend on these campaigns. Now take a look at these campaigns. So I'm going to scroll down so we can look at these. Now I have them ordered by sales in this first month. You could see the top performing campaign by sales with a 32% ACoS, $7,000 in sales during our first 25 days is actually a broad match campaign, not an exact match campaign. So this is what I was telling you guys before. If you're still following this outdated advice that your launches should be only single keyword exact match campaigns, you're going to be losing your shirt because it's not what always performs best. Yes, it is important to have those. And yes, they do drive rank most powerfully, but a lot of times you're paying way more for those sales. And if you don't have a big launch budget, you could lose your shirt and your competitors are just going to fly right in to pick apart your dead body like a bunch of vultures. The way to do it is set up a number of different types of campaigns with a number of different types of match types and both automatic and manual targeting and different types of ad types. And then you see what's performing best and then you feed that campaign more. So at the beginning, we weren't giving this campaign that much budget, but what happened was as time went on and we saw how it was performing, we reallocated some of the budget from these exact campaigns that weren't doing as well. You can see this 41% ACoS, 79% ACoS over to the campaign that was performing the best, which was these keywords in this broad match campaign. You can see the second best performing campaign is 22% ACoS with almost $2,000 in sales or $1,800 in sales, also a broad match campaign. And it's only till we get to the third best performing campaign that we have exact match. Then we have another broad match campaign. Then we have a auto campaign. SPA means sponsored product auto here. That's our little naming delineation. Highly recommend you guys do really tight naming conventions with your campaigns. Otherwise, you're going to get totally lost. So it should be the product nickname, the ASIN itself, SPM or SPA, meaning sponsored product automatic or sponsored product manual. But if it's sponsored brand, then it'd be SB, not SP. And if it's sponsored display, it'd be SD, right? So it's what kind of ad type it is, and is it automatic or is it manual? And then what is the match type? And then if there's keywords, what is the keyword grouping? So in this case, we have fridge keywords here. We have lazy Susan keywords here. Here we have a close match because that's the type of match type that we're doing in the auto campaign. This allows us to, at a glance, see what type of targeting and what type of ad setup is working best. If you don't have good naming convention, you're just driving with no steering wheel, basically. It's super dangerous, super lazy. And as we go down, we have campaigns that are producing sales. Some of them at a good ACoS like this one, but it's just a lower volume. So this, for example, is the self-targeted product placement campaign that I mentioned before. You could see low volume of sales, but very low ACoS because we are literally targeting people who were just on our listing like a second ago. So those are super highly relevant customers. Then we have some single keyword campaigns, and you could see we didn't drive too many sales because they were a lot higher ACoS. Now, a lot of times you're just going to grin and bear it with the higher ACoS just because you are getting organic ranking increase. But in our case, the cost of the sales was just too high. And these broad match campaigns were doing so much better that we reallocated more of the ad spend to the broad match campaigns, and we ended up spending a lot more on those. But you can see we have single keyword exact match campaigns down here. Each one of these is for just one keyword. Lazy Susan organizer, Lazy Susan for refrigerator, Lazy Susan. Here we have a category targeted campaign. This is what I was mentioning before. So we have refined by price, targeting only the products that were higher priced than us. Now, this one was not doing so good with the 200% ACoS, so we ended up allocating a lot of the ad spend to some of these other campaigns. Then we have more single keyword exact match campaigns down here. But you can see this is how it turned out. It's always going to turn out differently. The key is during the launch to spend time every single day during the launch period, especially the first 35 days, going through the data to find out what's working so that you can reallocate more resources to what's working and feed more of what's working more and cut away what's working less. Now, if you want access yourself to the same resource I was walking through in this video with the exact step-by-step campaign structure and the full campaign layout for a product launch on Amazon, just email hello@sophiesociety.com and I will send it right back to you. Now, if you're watching this and thinking, wow, this is awesome, but also it seems like a lot of work, I'd rather have someone do this for me, you can apply to be a Sophie PPC partner and have me and my team grow your brand with you using PPC and do your product launches with PPC on my website, sophiesociety.com. You could see that in the description of this video. So just click that. It takes like 30 seconds to apply to see if you're applicable. Now, I've been on YouTube a long time, but always on other people's channels. My channel is still relatively new, so I actually answer every single comment. So please do comment on this video. I answer every single one. And also, you know, it's a really small channel. So, I mean, it's good because I get to interact with you guys one-on-one basically. So please do comment there and I'll comment back. I want to hear if you've done a product launch before. I want to hear if you've had success doing something different than in this video. I want to hear if you implement this and you have success. Please do comment on the video so that other people can see. And scroll down and look at the comments because you're going to find a lot more information down there from people who are running product launches right now. That's where the conversation happens. So comment down there. And then if you want to know how to set your budget during a launch, check out this video, which is the most thorough covering of budgets during a product launch on Amazon that I've ever seen on the internet. I created it. It's on my channel. It's right there. And you could check out my channel for the other videos that I mentioned during this video that I didn't have time to go super deep into. And I'll see you guys over there.